word for hard work is indeed a lot more work. And on this program, week in, week out, we seek to celebrate hard work, bringing to you the other sides to those hardworking individuals. Here we are at the home of the CEO of CMC Interiors, Yinka Oshobu, all on Executive Discourse. I am Ololade Adeniji-Adele, welcoming you to another interesting edition of the show. Hello, Yinka.
Hi, Ololade, how are you?
I'm very well,
Welcome to
thank
my
you.
little abode, and the Executive Discourse team. Nice to have you.
Thank you so
Yes.
much. Thank you. I mean, you do have a lovely place here, I
Thank
must
you.
say.
And sorry, you didn't give me enough time
Ah.
to put my shoes on.
Yinka,
But never mind.
Yinka,
I shall find time to put my shoes on for the rest of the show.
Yinka, do not deceive our viewers because you're not a shoe-wearing individual. You're not.
Seriously.
So,
How did you know that?
don't worry. A little bird told me
Everybody
about
told
it.
you.
Yes. Thank you so much for allowing us into your home.
Sure.
One thing I must tell you, I've learned a lot from this woman, and I've learned so much about her, in the course of my interactions with her. Do I really want you to know some of those things? Well, let's find out the much of her that, we can expose on Executive Discourse. Yinka, once again, it's good to see you.
Good to see you again, looking good and bubbly, and I'm sure you have some interesting questions for me.
Yes, I do have interesting questions for you, and it's a good thing you're wearing sandals.
Yes, I wore them just for you because, as you know, I like to be barefooted most of the time.
Yes, I mean, that is one thing.
But do you want to know why?
Please, let us
I just
into
think it's just, it's earthy. I'm like inside me, I think maybe my former life, I was like a gypsy, a Guru Maraya kind of, earthy, villagey kind of person. I don't know. I just feel it's just nice to feel the earth,
Yinka,
Yes, ma.
try.
Try.
Try to pretend
Tend.
a bit to be the
Oyibo,
Oyibo
that's
that
I am.
you are.
But I don't want to be that part. I prefer to be the African that I am, the true
You see what I
African
mean
that I am.
about her?
Because I am actually truly African, very Afrocentric.
Yes.
Africa, I mean, where else? The best.
Indeed, yes, of course.
We are the best.
You're a true African. And, talking about being African, you have been able to establish a business that, has grown not just across Nigeria, but across, the African frontiers. Now, for me, you're doing something that is different, kind of, because you're in a male-dominated field. But how did the journey into furniture making begin for you?
Well, it wasn't my academic training. Like I said, I'm a child psychologist by profession, really. And again, I always tell people, it doesn't matter what you study. You can, whatever you study is very transferable. And I use what I have learned academically very much so with my work and my workers. And as you know, you've been to the factory, and I have very few staff turnover. A lot of it is because of my academic background, where I learned to understand when to push and when to pull. But generally, like I said, I'm a child psychologist. I came to Nigeria to bury my father, never left. That was my father's dream, that I stayed in Nigeria, and I only sadly realized it only after he passed. So I came, I couldn't find a job. I couldn't get anywhere to practice. Practicing psychology isn't part of our culture. Our grandparents do that, our mother-in-laws and our friends. Now things are changing. 20, 25 years later, things are changing a little bit, especially in the schools. So I didn't know what to do. My mother was an interior landscaper, and she really had a good flair for interiors. So learning from her, working from her over the years, I just thought this is a natural thing for me. I enjoy it. I started very small. I got a lot of positive reinforcement when I started, and the rest is history, really.
Now, I'm looking at your background. Your father was, bless his soul, was one of, the most reputable lawyers, that we had in Nigeria and in Africa. And I'm wondering, coming from such a legal background, on your father's side, you did not take to law, and that's surprising. One would have expected to see you practice law.
My father had several children. If everybody was a lawyer, that would have made him happy. In fact, he pushed and pushed and pushed. And my father so believed in education. In fact, when I finished my master's, and I told my dad, "Hey, Dad, I finished my master's," and my father said, "You've just started. Go and do your PhD and come back and tell me that you have studied." So really, my father really wanted me to be a lawyer as his first child. He really pushed, but it wasn't for me. But my brother Dotu, is a lawyer, and he's practicing with Femi Falana right now. Wow. So at least we have a lawyer in the family.
You do have a lawyer in the family.
Yes.
Coming to what you do, yes, you've told us how your journey started, and I'm wondering, what has the experience been like over the years for you?
I think it's the best thing that's ever happened to me to come back home. I always encourage people to come back home. My father wanted me to be here. My father thought I should be here. My father knew I would be able to, make a good life for myself here. And it hasn't been easy because I've been single most of the time with my children. I've had to, it's not easy for single parents really to manage a big business and to be a mother and to do all these things. But I've had the most supportive team ever. My grandma, who passed recently, my father's sister, Auntie Moni, bless her, she made it possible for me to actually succeed because she was here with my kids, and she was a retired teacher and a loving mom. I mean, my kids actually identify more with her as mom than with me, which is fine, because as long as the children have as many loving people as possible, then of course my staff that have been with me. My driver has been with me 25 years. Wow. My nanny has been with me 25 years. Wow. So it's like, it's just one big family, and we've just kept moving on. Challenges, come and go like any other businesses. The economy has been challenging in the last couple of years. We've had to really think out of the box in order to stay afloat. We've had to go more online. And we've had to look at how we produce to see not how we can cut quality, but how we can control waste, for example. That was one of the big things we did. I always say not having money or having economic challenges is quite good for you. Because it's a teaching process. It's a learning process. You get to, dot your I's and cross your T's. And so by the time things get better, you still continue to dot your I's and cross your T's and do a little bit better. So it has been an interesting journey. I'm hoping to get to the point where I'm working because I want to work and not because I have to work. But I think I'm still maybe about 10, 15 years away from that. And it's been very interesting. I wouldn't want it any other way. I sit back sometimes and say, what would I have changed? What would I have done differently? And I was doing a personality test recently, and the personality test labels me as, I don't know what that means, a protagonist, really. I read what that meant, and it was true in the sense that it says you're the sort of person that never has any regrets. You take things, you hold things by the bull, you move on, you take your loss, count your losses, move on, you rejoice at the good things, and try not let the bad things weigh you down. I've always been like that.
Wow. Yes. Definitely a goal-getter you are, I must say. Now, for the purpose of our viewers, who do not know what exactly you guys do. You're into furniture making, you're into interior decoration, but do you have a particular genre of furniture making that you do? Or, what kind of furniture, what kind of work do you do at Slim's Interiors?
We are a bespoke, custom-make company. In other words, you have a cabinet, you have a space in your house that's 2 meters wide by 6 meters high. You want something to fit in that slot. We get that done for you. We do all types of furniture in terms of home, office, hotels, schools. However, we don't do doors, for example. Most people think because we automatically make furniture that we do doors. A lot of people come to me and ask me, do I do doors? So that's one thing we don't do. So basically, almost everything that are bespoke. However, we do have a retail line going. In other words, we do have things, as you will see when you come to the factory, that we do have things on ground that you can just buy and go on sofas ready-made. In fact, we have a production policy of making parts down. A lot of people wonder, how is CMC always so fast? You know, we order 100 chairs and, you know, we can get it in a week. It's not easy with woodwork unless you plan. So we tend to have a lot of components down. So we make components, so we can say, okay, we want to have maybe 10 designs of dining chairs. You make all the legs. And then maybe only the backs are different. So by the time you come, we just couple.
So it makes things faster
It makes things faster and easier for them. We can offer a variety of options. That's for the retail line. However, we do get people who say, you know what, I have a picture, there's something I really like, or there's this color I really like. Could you do that for me? And yes, we do.
Talking about, you know, how it has been for you over the years, you mentioned that, you know, a lot of times you were not really available on the home front. Yes. How has this impacted on your family, especially your children?
I think my children have always understood that I have to work, and that I've had to work to provide the lifestyle and that we try to have, and you know, the school fees, especially like I said, being on my own, they really understand that I have to work. And one of the ways I've tried to make that gap up is to have them involved in the things that I do. So for example, when they were younger, they used to get dropped off at the office. It was at the office that we did all the homework. The lesson teacher would come to the office, we did the homework at the office, so that by the time we got home, we could have quiet time. And this developed because usually it happened that when I come home, they were just doing homework and I'm tired and I'm screaming and they're like, why is she screaming? So just a little change made a big difference. So I said, okay, bring them to the office after school. After school, we do the homework, do it. Now we can come home and everybody can relax and it's fun. It's fun when we come home. It impacts them, of course, you'll have to ask them because obviously it impacts every child in a different way. You try to do your best. I always say to my kids, look, you have the prerogative to always find another mom. But this mom is doing the best that she knows how to do with what I have. I may not always be correct. You know, you're free. We have a very open, pragmatic relationship. I mean, I'll give you an example. When I was building the factory, we didn't have money to travel. And they had been used to traveling every year. And I said, look, I'm building this factory, we don't have money to travel. If I take the money to travel, when we come back, we have to be drinking gari and we'll have no diesel for the generator. So they understand my practicality and I always carry them along and on all the stages that I'm at. You know, if I'm doing well, I carry them along. If I'm not doing so well, I carry them along. We discuss. And I think one of the positive impacts of that is that my kids are very entrepreneurship. They're always thinking about creating jobs. And we have that conversation a lot. So I'm very proud of the fact that my daughter, who you'd meet, is self-employed. My second daughter is self-employed. My third son is almost graduating and very much on track as to what he wants to do. So I'm very lucky and fortunate.
Fantastic. You are very lucky.
Yes.
All right. Well, Yinka has said so much, you know, about how she's able to run the home front. Why not let's meet one or two of her kids so we'll actually get to know what kind of a mother she is. You know, this is Executive Discourse and this is what we seek to do, to find out other parts to our guests. So let's meet one or two of Yinka's children.
So Yinka Oshobu is my mom, luckily. I would say that she's hardworking, first of all. She is straight to the point, and she's a free spirit.
She is an entrepreneur, and she is a great life and business role model. Growing up with her was a great experience. A lot of life lessons that were very subtly taught that I can pull from now and be like, so this was what all this was about. So it was good. I had an amazing childhood.
It was great. I had a very good childhood growing up. Like I said, she has always been straight to the point, so she didn't really baby us too much. And I think she gave us a good balance between reality and, still being able to be a child. It was fun. We had a lot of fun, my sister and I. And we did a lot of traveling, a lot of experiences. She was very keen on creating experiences for us, which I really appreciate now. She brought in my grand aunt, which we called my grandma, who has now passed away. But she raised us. She also raised my mom. So we had a family member, a trusted family member with us at all times. And the time that she did spend with us was she spent quality time with us, doing things that were fun, also impacting us, also leading by example. She was in Abuja for a while, and I remember we used to go and visit her every holiday, and it was always a great time. So I think it impacted me positively because she didn't let her circumstances, or she didn't let anything, how will I put it, stop her drive. And I think, I kind of, even though I didn't really understand it then, I kind of internalized that. And from a young age, I always knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Seeing her running her own business really inspired me to want to have my own business. So right from school, I went straight, I think I worked for a year, and then I went straight into starting my own business. And that drive, that hunger for success, that attention to detail, has really rubbed off on me. My sister and I grew up working in the factory. We used to stuff pillows, and there's this veneer thing they call veneer. We used to glue veneer. So, just seeing her in that industry that's, predominantly male driven, and seeing her succeed in that industry just really kind of put that fire behind me to say that I can also do it and do whatever I want to. I'm very grateful. I'm very, very grateful for that upbringing.
Yinka first is the force. You know what you mean by force? A force is when something walks into a place. It changes the atmosphere. Yes, she has a presence. Positive, charming personality. She's a woman that, every day, with the things, every time I encounter her, I'm inspired. She's a professional in her business. She's a fantastic mother. She's a great sister. She's a woman that you can't but not. Yinka Oshobu walks into a room, right? And when she sits down, she's the first person that her personality is so charming and so addictive that she first enters with a smile. The room lights up when she's there. Honestly, I tell you, without it out, the room actually lights up when Yinka is there. And her business ethics is one to admire. She keeps going at it. I tease her all the time. I said, the only thing you get comfort is in your business. At work. When she's at work, she's herself. There's so many things to describe her as, but I will tell you, I'm blessed to have someone like that in my life. And I'm not saying it out of, I am actually blessed to have her. She's wonderful. I'm telling you, if I use the word wonderful, I probably use it like 100 times. And I know that I say the same for a lot of people around her. She has a happy, a positive, she's light. She carries a lot of light in her. So I'm very thankful that I have her as, 1, a friend, 2, a sister, and 3, an egbon, because she guides me. She guides me. She's the one, if I say top 5 of people that if something is going on in my life, she's one of the top 5 that I'll go to and say, Atinks, what do you think about this? So I'm really, really blessed to have her in my life.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet, and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
Wow. I must say Yinka is a mother through and through, because having met, her kids, What more do we want to learn from her, especially on the home front? But of course, there's still more to talk to this special woman all about on Executive Discourse. Yinka, we've met, your daughters, and yes, they've given us a true picture of who you are. Now, taking one thing away from what your daughters have said, which is your practicality, and well, you always wanting to get things done on the spot.
Is that what they said?
Yes.
Yes.
That yes, once mommy wants something done,
yes,
it has to be done at
yes.
at that particular point. Now, this kind of way of life, how has it impacted on your business?
I read somewhere that you either do it now, delegate, or it doesn't need to be done, or it's not necessary. So do it now, delegate, or remove, or eradicate, or delete, or whatever you want. Maybe it's not important. So I'm always saying those three things to myself. Is this something I can do now? Is this something I can delegate, or is this something I really don't have to do? So that helps me, because time just has a way of flying by. You understand? So if I have to make a phone call, I'm not the sort of person that says, oh, I'll make it in 2 hours.
Procrastinate.
No, I don't. I just do it, and I just keep doing it. And I have to sign a check. I don't say, come back in 2 hours. I just say, okay, it's 30 seconds. I just do it. You understand? Yes. So I keep on just getting things done. And sometimes I say to myself, wow, how do you get all this stuff done? I'm sometimes amazed at myself, but I think that's just my philosophy. And then another thing I say to everybody, do not do tomorrow what you can do today. Tomorrow may never come. So it just works for me. And then sometimes I say, oh, thank God I did that yesterday. Can you imagine? I didn't know that my truck will not work today. I didn't know something. I'm so happy I did it. Even though I didn't feel like doing it, even though I could have left it, I'm really pleased I did it. So it just becomes a habit.
Her weak point is that she doesn't like anybody to be lazy. She wants to meet up her target. When she tells you she wants this around this time, you must at least finish it for her. When you don't do that for her, she screams, she shouts, she talks, because she gives the customers their target to deliver.
Hey, my boss, she doesn't want you to sit down. She doesn't want you to rest. Yeah, I think that's a flaw.
She cares about people to her fault. She cares about you, about her children, about everything. Whatever you're feeling, she's feeling. She wants to know what is happening to you. That's a weak point. Some people don't care at all. Yinka, when I say a friend and a sister, if a friend turns into a sister, she's a woman of many parts. She's a superwoman.
I think Auntie Yinka's weak point, which is a strength as well, is the fact that she's human. Human, and she's humane. She doesn't see, in the kind of world we live in, the world is changing. And a lot of people, she doesn't see anything wrong with anybody. She always tries to see and I see that it's not a weakness for her, because it's a strength. But sometimes you see a weakness as a strength. She doesn't see anything wrong in anybody.
My mom is a perfectionist, and it has to be it's her way or the highway. And she's very impatient. Mom, please don't kill me if you watch this. But my mom is impatient. She wants things done, and she wants them done well, and she wants them done now. And not everybody subscribes to that school of thought. Not everybody is capable of moving at that pace. And it's just like, either you're moving at that pace or you get out of the way. So I think that would be one of her flaws.
Wow. A positive habit, I must say. Looking at, your line of work, your business, CMC does so much, and you have quite an outlet there. I mean, it's quite big in the furniture and interior, decoration business here in Nigeria. Now, I'm wondering, taking a look at and listening to you about, how you started, how far you have come. We all know that, yes, there are economic meltdowns around the world, not just in Nigeria. And I'm wondering how easy or otherwise has it been for you to be able to achieve so much in this length of time and still, get going, your staying power?
Yeah. I think you just have to be very prudent. I think that's one of also the things that I have always been extremely prudent. And I'm not being silly, and I'm not talking about silly prudent. I'm not saying drink gari if you can eat rice. You know, that's not the sort of prudence that I'm talking about. I'm just saying that I have a very simple lifestyle. That has helped me. I really don't have fancy tastes. I don't own jewelry. I don't own fancy cars. I don't...
What about the fancy shoes?
I don't own fancy shoes. Exactly. I'm just, for many years, my friends are even, oh wow, she's buying Oshobu now, you know. I never did that all my working years. Now my friends that I've grown up with, their children are getting married, and you know, you now feel like you need to, you know, you need to do those Oshobu kind of things. And of course I'll frown if it's more than 10,000 naira. But anyway, I'm extremely prudent about my lifestyle. I'm extremely prudent about how I run the factory. And I think that has just helped. So basically, you wouldn't know if I'm distressed or not, because my lifestyle is pretty much quite balanced in that sense. And I don't, and then I'm not wasteful, because it's one thing to be, yeah, I guess they go hand in hand, being prudent and not being wasteful. So that's how I've managed to run my home and my business. And it's been a lot of sacrifices. In the first 15 years, it took me 17 years to even buy my first home, you know, and it was just from hardcore saving everything I could from my job. It took a long time to build my factory. That was another maybe 10 years, 15 years. That came from just saving and saving and saving. You know, I'm putting back into the business. Some people say I'm small-minded because I refuse to take a loan. Because I also feel that we're not big, like you say. I think I'll say we're medium scale. You understand? I would say
you're trying.
I mean the PLCs are big. You understand? But I think we're medium scale, and I always say to people who are starting businesses and to my children that your business will speak to you. Your business has a way of talking to you. So for my second daughter, for example, who is she's into photography as well and IT, and she said, "Oh, Mom, that's my passion, and I want to get a place on the island." And I'm like, "No, that's not how you start. Start with Mom's little apartment," and that's what she's done. Grow your business from there. Learn your mistakes slowly, carefully, step by step. And when it's time for you to get a place on the island, it will come. So that's just basically the way my philosophy is, and it works for me. I feel that growth should be calculated and slow. Most of the time, people want to, you know, borrow money for a business, and the banks don't want to help because they don't see on paper how you're going to grow that business from 0 to 100 in 1 year. There are businesses that can grow in such scale up, but they're not many. So the best thing to do is to start small.
Take it one step at a time.
Take it one step at a time, one product at a time. And that's what I did. When I first started the furniture business, I only made sofas.
Okay.
I only made sofas. And then I went into beds, and then into wardrobes, and then into kitchens, and then into hotels. And that's how I graduated. Each time I was comfortable in what I had done and achieved, I would now have a new challenge.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And now one of the challenges that I'm growing into is to do what I call architectural interiors. So you're talking about, you know, going to hotel lobbies and doing the wood cladding.
Okay.
You understand? That's a whole area of interiors that's very different from what I'm doing. So you're doing the bars, you're doing the lobbies, you're doing the actual ambience that doesn't involve the furniture. So that's a whole different area. And that's where I'm at now. I'm beginning to get the jobs, and I'm beginning to get better at doing what I call architectural interiors. Yeah.
Now you're talking about, you know, growing your business into another area. And I'm just wondering, as you were talking about that, how would you say you have grown in this line of business? The first thing that came to me was, okay, she must be educating herself, you know, because these are areas that you're wearing into. You've grown one step at a time. How have you been able to, you know, develop and grow your foray into these areas of interior decoration and furniture making?
One thing you always have to do is associate with people who are better than you are. You know, you continue to have to seek people who are better, who are willing to teach, You need to always have the approach that you don't know everything, and always be willing to learn and to be open. And of course, I talk to you a lot about backward integration.
Yes.
I spend a lot of time in Istanbul. Istanbul is my hub in terms of learning, in terms of education. It used to be Italy in my early days, but now it's more Istanbul, it's more Belgium, it's more Spain, and now definitely China. China has a lot to offer, and they are quite generous in terms of their teachings and their learnings, because obviously they have either machines or they have products they want you to integrate into your business, and they're quite generous, like I said, with their time and with the learning process. So you just keep having, I always say the furniture industry is like clothes, fashion industry. You keep having to get better, get innovative, stay with the trend, bring new things out, new fabrics, new textures. It's just a continuous process. The minute you feel that you've done it all or you've stopped, you really are just beginning to die a slow death.
A slow death. All right. Because Yinka keeps evolving every day and her business keeps growing, why not let's take a trip to the factory of CMC Interiors to actually see Yinka at work and get to meet one or two of her staff to listen to what they have to say about this woman that I am learning so much about, who keeps unfolding, with everything that comes out of her mouth. Let's take a trip to the factory of CMC Interiors.
So Monday mornings, like I said, I need to set the pace for the week. I actually really don't like it when I don't come in on Monday mornings, because I get to set the pace in terms of reprioritize deliveries, what production issues need to be attended to first. Just basically set the pace for what we're going to achieve for the week. And like I said, it's a pressure. I can't even think right now because it's a pressure time of the year and we're extremely busy and there's a lot to do. So if you can follow me around basically to see some of the one or two things that I have to do. So for example, this is a fabric that belongs to a client, and it's what's left of what we have used for his chairs. And I need to see how many pillows I can get out of this fabric. So you can come in here. Again, because we've been working so much, you see the messy area. This is our upholstery section. So basically, this is where we actually bring in either old chairs that need to be, please, no noise, old chairs that need to be refurbished. That's actually a very big part of what we do. People bring their old chairs and then we change the fabric, open it up, change the foam. But anyway, this is my team of people that tries to ensure that the things we need to get delivered and done. This particular chair is a recovery, what we call a recovery. It's an old chair. This chair is about, maybe the client bought this chair from us about 8 to 9 years ago. So, and it's actually our product. We do recover other people's products as well, but a lot of our own customers bring their very old chairs to us. So this is about 9 years old, brought to us this week, and we need to get it done. So part of the process, which is a very hectic process, and this is a new tool we just found. This is a new amazing tool I just found when I was in China. It looks very simple, but it's the most amazing thing, because when you do a recovery, part of what you have to do is remove every single pin. So, I broke a nail, so you see my nails are very, no. Why are you taking it from me when you know I can equally do? So this tool here, I just want to let people know that sometimes when they say they want to recover a chair, they think that it's easy. It's actually very, very difficult work, because every single pin, you understand? And this tool is amazing because we just got this tool. So these are things, we have to remove all the pins from the wood. Where's your plier? Where's your plier? If you don't remove the pins from the chair, you don't have space to re-pin or re-clothe the chair. So every single pin, it's actually easier. So this is what we do. So it's actually easier to do a new chair than to do a recovery. But people expect that recovery is a piece of cake, but really it is not. So that's basically, it's a lot of work. So he's doing that for the set. So in this section, we actually cover the frames. Either we are covering the frame. This is one of the recovered chair that has been properly treated. So it's ready to be covered. This is a new product. This is a recovery, and all these are recoveries. You can see He's using the same tool. He's using the same tool to remove the pins. So, and then they're cutting the fabric that will now be placed onto this chair. So this is where the area where the fabric is actually cut and covered. And most of the time we use a gun system. This is actually a very good and efficient system where basically we use a gun system to pin the fabric on the chairs. It just makes things very faster, and they know I can use it. They know I'm very good at using it back. So, but these are pins which you'll have to do by hand, you know. So these are what we call our work order board. This is very, very important because every single paper here represents a customer's order. This is like I said, it tells you what exactly we're producing. It tells you what fabric we're using. It tells you how the fabric is combined, you understand? Which one goes on the seat, which one goes on the back. It tells you everything you need to know about the production of that chair. So basically when the order comes in, the manager does that and then brings it to them so that there's no error.
She's a loving, caring woman. And she likes to teach people what you don't know, to lift you up. She's the one that taught me everything that I know today. And glory be to God, I'm very grateful to her.
She's a hardworking woman. When I first got here, the way I saw her doing some things, I even told her that she's hardworking, that I want to be like her. That's what I told her the first time I started working. So she's hardworking. Then, under her leadership, it is very easy to be a hardworking person. Because if a stranger comes here now, you know, if the person sees how she works with her staff, you will know that she's our boss because she's so hardworking. She can clean, she can sweep, she can do anything. And she engages us to do the same thing.
Wow. The factory of CMC Interiors actually had so much to offer us there. I mean, we've seen Yinka at work, we've spoken to her staff, and it doesn't come easy being able to maintain your workers, you know, having your staff strength stay on with you for so long. And I must say to you, Yinka, kudos, because you've been able to, you know, keep your staff for so long.
Well done. Thank you very much.
Now back to, you know, our discussion here. Yes, we've heard your staff pay kind of glowing tributes to you and how you've been able to keep the business afloat. In all of this that they have talked about and which you have talked about, Yinka, I have not heard one word about recreation.
Oh.
How do you rest? Hello?
Hello.
Do you ever get any rest at all?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Trust me, we all need. We all need to find that time that we can rest and just, I call it, Sundays are very, really my rest days generally.
You don't work on Sundays?
I try not to. I mean, no. If it's needed, you know, look, you have to stay in business and you have to meet a deadline. If it requires you to work on Sunday, I work on Sunday. I mean, I worked up to Christmas Eve, you know, to get people's houses ready. That's just what you do. You need to maintain that. And sometimes in this business, people are working, they want to make joint decisions with their wives, their children. The only time they have maybe at the weekend. So you just have to be flexible. You know, otherwise you need to put the needs of the customers first, and they're very appreciative knowing that you would take time out on a Sunday. Another good day to work is a Sunday because the traffic is like almost nothing. So trust me, I would pick Sunday any day.
Can you
to
do
see
that? Can you imagine?
Yes, I would pick Sunday. I encourage my drivers to work on Sundays after church because I say, look, just imagine how many deliveries we can do on Sunday as opposed to Monday, especially now with the Lagos Ibadan expressway. We really have to
construction works going on.
We really have to be creative about how we move around and how we get things done. We need to continue to make it flawless. We can't say, oh, the Lagos, that's why I didn't. Customers don't want to hear that, you know. You have your challenges, you solve them, you make yourself look great, and that's what they're paying for. Sundays, I call it my vegetate day. That means I'm sure I spend 10 or more hours lying flat on the floor. I just do. I probably just get up to eat or to attend to one or two things. But generally, I like being on the floor because it's cool. The floor is cold.
Oh,
so
This my Oyinbo
I don't know
dress.
why. I just go like that, you know, and I'm there all day, and then maybe I'll watch Netflix. But generally, what I really love doing the most is my yoga and my swimming. That's what I really love, and my bicycling. 6 times a week, I'm either swimming or I'm at yoga or I'm riding my bicycle. So once I've done that, I call it my gift, my daily gift to myself. I enjoy that. And then, of course, I hang around. Trust me, I hang around with my friends. I go to jazz maybe twice a month.
Yinka.
I love jazz music.
Yinka.
Seriously.
Yinka,
Yes, ma.
tell me something else, because I do not see this Yinka.
Yeah, doing all those
Doing
things.
all those.
Trust me. The thing about it is that I wouldn't, if I have a deadline or I have something to do work-wise, for some reason work would always be the preference to do. But yes, whenever I can squeeze it in, I do. I go to jazz, I hang out with my friends, I attend their parties. Yes, I might not have the Jimmy Choo shoes on. I may have a wedge on,
Okay.
but I do attend those things, believe it or not.
You do attend this.
You missed the last BC show? I was on it. I was so proud because I've never been on BC show, and apparently they got a good, oh, yes, you're BC show. I'm like, I made it to the BC show. And I made it to none of those shows. So
Yes, you did. And I must
Things are
tell
looking up.
I must tell our viewers, I mean, getting you to sit to do this interview. Wow.
hard.
Yes, it was hard.
Yeah, because you came at a really busy time.
Yinka,
which was
is
the
there
last
any time
quarter.
you're not busy?
Today I'm not. Today I'm not. That's why I'm sitting down here with you.
Okay. I'm sure our viewers are taking that with a pinch of salt, because I'm practically having to hold her down
Yes,
to do
'cause I'm
this
like
interview
ready
because
to go.
she's ready to run out of here. But still along the lines of what you do, you know, furnishing business and all of that, I'm wondering, will you say that your background in child psychology has helped in any way, one, to grow your business, two, to keep your staff strength, because we see that, you know, you have been able to keep some of your staff for quite a while. So would you say your background, you know, having studied child psychology, had any role to play in this at all?
Well, I think it's a combination of things in terms of the role that it plays in keeping my staff. And yes, it helps you in the sense that you've been trained to do what I call a very quick assessment, not only of your staff, but also of your customers. You understand if they're finicky, you understand if time is important to them, you understand certain things about their personality. You have some customers who they like you to carry them along with every step of what you're doing. You have another customer who just feels, look, I'm paying you, take the load off me, I don't want to hear about it till it ends. So you have I've been trained to have an eye or an ear, or my senses are in tuned to make a quick assessment. And that helps you in knowing how to approach both your customers and your staff. And I think it's not just about the child psychology background. I think I learned from my Egmont, Mr. Adeola, founder of Faith Foundation, that look, you have people working for you. You don't ask them how they are. You don't ask about their wives. You don't ask about their children. You don't know who your local government chairman is. You don't know who your DPO in your area is. I learned that from him. And that helps me a lot. I'm always constantly asking my staff. And trust me, it goes a long way. You know, they were sick. What did you do? Are you okay? Which hospital was it? Did they treat you well? How's your mom? Or your wife just had a baby. How's the baby doing? Those things go a mighty, mighty long way, because they need to know that you care about them, you know, and it's a two-way street. They're always asking me how I am, or how's my son abroad, and things like that. So it's about that, and it's about being sensitive also to their needs. For example, during the floods, we had 3 or 4 staff that their houses were totally flooded and were unable to, they didn't have a home any longer. So I housed about 2 people here. Wow. Yes, because I'm at an empty apartment here. I housed 2 people here, and other people were able to house temporarily until the water flood. So, you know, you let them know that they're working for a company that when push comes to that when push comes to squeeze, we'll find a way to support them. So, you know, like the staff who have been with you over 20 years, the least you can do for them is make sure their kids are equally educated. So we have people that we are sponsoring to go to university, and yes, and on and on and on. It could be housing, it could be schooling, it could be further training, it could be hospital assistance for a relative. So there's a whole array of things that you can do, just trying to meet them at their point of needs, and that's a way of showing appreciation. You know, so I always tell them it's not just about the Christmas hampers that you get. It's really a lot more than that. What do you do for somebody all year round? Sometimes it might be just time off. Yes. I have a staff who was just constantly late, constantly coming in very late, and I called him. I said, "What's wrong with you?" And he said, "My mom is sick." I said, "Take 2 weeks off and go and sit with your mom." And eventually that mother passed. So I was happy that we gave him 2 weeks paid salary to go and stay with his mom. It's just basically meeting them at the particular point of need. Okay. And for everybody, it's different.
Well done, well done. Yinka, what is your day like? How does your day begin? Take me through your normal day.
A typical day. Okay, my typical day starts about maybe 4:35. And basically what I do at 4:35 is respond to a lot of mail. It's my quiet time to respond to mail, to WhatsApp. It could be my friends, it could be business, it could be letting a customer know that I haven't forgotten about them, maybe a customer that I have to attend. Just, it's quiet time for me to go through my phone and do a lot of that. So as soon as I'm done with that, in bed, I take my blood pressure. Yes.
After attending to your meal?
After attending to my meal, in bed, while I'm still lying in bed, I take my blood pressure. Once I get to then I change for my workout. So it's either a yoga day or a swimming day or a bike day. Then I go out at about 6:20 when the daylight starts. Especially if I'm riding my bike, I need to go when dawn breaks. So I go about 6:30, I'm back at about 8. I take my cocktail, my portion cocktail.
Yes, your portion cocktail.
Yes, my portion cocktail.
Carrot,
all sorts.
Beetroot,
all sorts
ginger,
of stuff. Yes. I'm drinking that. If I take that, in fact, if I can have 3 glasses of that all day, I'm good. So I have that, and then I jump into my car, take a quick shower, jump in my car, and I'm gone. So that's at the home front in the morning. Now things are a little bit more me, because my kids are grown, and the last 2 are in boarding house, so I'm literally alone most of the time. So it's before it's logistics about kids, you know, wake up, go to school. Now it's totally quiet time. I can maybe clean a cupboard a day or something like that. I might decide I want to tidy up my shirt closet. So I do a lot of those kind of things. Then I go, and of course, hopefully, my drive to work is usually when I think about what I need to get done for that day, what I want to reprioritize. I think about it. So I never listen to the radio, because I'm always crazy when somebody gets in my car and the first thing they do is turn on the radio. Unfortunately, I don't listen to the radio because I need that quiet time to really run through my mind. And also, my phone is always going off. So it's always, you have to turn off the radio to turn off. So my phone goes off, I'm dealing with that, I get to work, and I'm basically, on Mondays, I try not to do anything outside the office on Mondays. Yeah, because Mondays are very important to me to set the pace for the week. So that if I have to not be there any other time of the week, I know that on Mondays I've at least set the pace for what I need to do, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so forth. We have our team meetings, we know what needs to be done, we know the targets that have to be met, we know the purchases that have to be done. We do all that on Monday. And of course now it's not so easy driving back home because the traffic is a lot. If I'm privileged to be driven, I can do some work in my car. If I'm driving, then it's a hard day back home. I get home, take a shower, normal everyday stuff, eat something, and I'm catching Netflix if I can.
If you can.
Catching the news. I'm obsessed with what Trump does. So, yeah, I am obsessed with, I'm not going to say that, that's all I'm going to say.
Yes.
I am obsessed with what has Trump done or said today. Let me quickly catch up on that, you know. So I do a little bit of that, and then I sleep quite early because my day starts early. And I find that most people who have a exercise routine tend to sleep early because it just doesn't work when you're tired.
Yes.
So I get good 6-7 hours sleep. And then the next day starts all over again.
All over again.
Yeah.
All right. Talking about your dress sense, we were at the factory and, you know, we've seen you in work clothes. I also got something you said, cleaning out your shirt closet.
Yes.
So obviously you must have, like, you know, your kind of clothes that you wear.
Yes.
Of course, apart from the fact that you don't wear shoes. Yes. So what informs your dress sense? And what kind of clothes do
Oh
you
my
wear?
goodness. Comfort, soft cotton, comfort, old, washed, worn out, comfort. That's really my dress sense. In fact, I have a friend who sells clothes. And every year for the past 6 years, she has given me a ball gown. And I have
Maybe
them.
you will get to wear.
And I have them still in the pack that she has given them to me. And I hope she doesn't give me one this year, because I keep saying to her, Happy, I don't have anywhere to go to wear these kind of clothes. Stop giving me these clothes. And I feel bad because she's my very, very good friend. I don't want to give the clothes away, but I keep waiting for an opportunity to wear this ball gown. And I've had one or two, but for some reason I put them on and I feel like Cleopatra, and then I'm like, nah, that's not me. And then I wear my t-shirt again and my jeans, and you know, I like doing things like wearing Ankara with tennis shoes, or wearing a t-shirt and with Ankara wrapper. You know, something really off, and then people say, Oyimboni, they excuse me, and I thank God.
And that works
I
for
just have
you.
a nice excuse that I'm Oyibo. So what do they expect, you know? I'm much better now. In those days, I would go to weddings and I wouldn't tie gele, and I would feel like the only one, you know. You literally sometimes was the only one. Now I try to comply a little bit. I try. But, I mean, clothes is just, I don't know, I don't really spend a lot of time thinking and worrying about clothes. And now, I've even changed now. Like, anything you see now that has a zip on the back is a very old dress, like this one.
Yes.
Now, I insist that I'm an Ankara queen. All my Ankaras must have the zip
In front.
on the front. Because I don't have the kids at home anymore to say,
Please zip me
please
up."
help me zip me up. And I'm always struggling with the zip. I'm like, why? Just change.
Yes.
Tell your tailor, put the zip to
Bring
the
the zip
front.
to the front.
Just like your
Just
top.
like my top.
There's
Finally.
always a solution to every problem.
Yeah, of course there is.
Yes.
All right, finally, Yinka, you're one woman who has thrived against all odds. You've done well for yourself, I must say, in your chosen line of business, especially working in an environment that is male-dominated. Now, to our viewers out there, there's someone there, I'm sure, who's looking up to you as a role model. There's someone who wants to be like you. What are your words of encouragement, words of advice to such individuals?
Very important, because I realized that a lot more people know you than you think. People are watching all the time. So it's very important to try to remain to be a role model and to do. But generally, I always say to people, be very clear about what you want to do. Take baby steps. And what exactly are you willing to sacrifice? That's always my first question to young people. I mean, if you want XYZ and you're not ready to give up XYZ, and you're not ready to give it, like, you know, my daughter wanted to start the business, her business, what are you willing to give up? Are you willing to give up the eating out, the hanging out with your friends? All these kind of things cost money. Are you ready to sell your only car to get to where you want to go? I'm more interested in what are the sacrifices you are willing to make. Are you willing to work overnight? In fact, so what do you really want to give up in order to get where you're going? Knowing that there's nothing free in life, you understand? And I think the other thing for me is attitude. Attitude, character, attitude. I'm more likely to hire somebody that has a good character and has a good attitude and teach them the job than somebody who knows the job and has a bad attitude and doesn't have good character. So for me, it's just very simple. It's not easy, but it's simple.
Well done. Thank you so much, Yinka. It's been a pleasure,
Mine
having
as well.
you
Thank
as
you
a
so
guest
much.
on the show.
Thank you.
And I've learned so much from you.
Thank you, and I hope we get to see again.
Definitely,
Real soon.
we'll get to see.
Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic.
All right, I have been talking to the CEO, CMC Interiors, Yinka Oshobu, and we've heard so much from her. A good attitude, a good character, And do not forget, she said something much earlier, which is about doing what you need to do today, right here and now, not leaving it until tomorrow. And that is what we're taking away from the show today. We do hope you've had a good time with us on Executive Discourse, because I have had so much fun and I've learned so much from this outstanding and beautiful woman. Let's do this again, same time next week on another episode of Executive